Hello guys, Cool Yoshi here, and welcome back to my 100% playthrough of Crash Team Racing Nitro Field. Again, I have played this a little bit, but not really much. We left off very close to the boss battles. In fact, we're about to start the final bosses, which is why I waited until now to do them, just so I could get both of them and not So we're gonna finish these two, and then once we do that, we'll get the ending, and then we will move on to the other stuff. And then while the thing loads, I'm not going to talk about the credits initially early on. I'll just let you enjoy them, because I will have to turn the fan on at some point. So, it's just because I've gotten so hot right now, and I don't want to get too hot during this, so that's why I thought I would take care of that right away.
Dingo, dingo, dingo.
But yeah. In the last episode, we started on Warp 3 and ended in Warp 4, and now we're gonna finish off the final bosses. And of course, this is gonna be one of the worst.
Forget about it. If you's gonna race outside, you's gonna have to get past me first. I'm the speed champion here, and I'm gonna save the world. For a sizable fee, of course.
Wow. He even shoots his gun at the beginning, and that just shows how ruthless Pinstripe is in this game. Again, I really like what they did with the entrances to the boss battles, how you kind of just zoom into each one now. That makes it a lot funner. Because before that, it kind of looked a little bit bland. Now, after we finish this, we're going to go straight to Warp 3, finish all that off, then finish Warp 4, then head to the final Warp Zone, where we'll do both Slide Coliseum and Turtle Trap to finish off. Of course, we're going to do both of those together, since I believe it's faster to do that way. So at that point, we'll actually do the Gem Cups in here, which is required for this. Alright. Time for arguably the worst boss in the entire game, that pretty much forces you to take a little bit of a different line, because otherwise this starts happening very quickly. So in case you're wondering, his mechanic is, as you didn't already notice, bombs. He uses a ton of them, and so yeah, for once we're probably going to be behind him for quite a bit. So we're going to actually have to use other stuff. And not only that, he kind of cheats a little tiny bit. At least as far as I know in the original. He used to throw bombs both ways, and I think he still does. So this is not essentially a free fight at all. It could go anyway if you don't play good. So you better be able to slow him down a lot, otherwise he's just gonna be very terrible. When you're ahead of him, it's not as bad. If you're not ahead of him, then that's when things get terrible. Because once you're behind him, he starts throwing bombs like non-stop. And it does not end, too. He's another one of the bosses where you could potentially skip his mechanic in the original, because there were wand skips on this track that you could do usually to make it even quicker, but because this is a boss, we have to do other stuff. Surprisingly, he is a little bit dumb and always takes the lawn route, so that's the one advantage we have over him, I guess. And from the looks of it, they did nerf this guy down quite a bit. I believe in the original, he would throw bombs everywhere. Even if so, though, if you manage to get at least a little ahead of them, the bombs will never get to you. Except maybe on this part, but usually no. So yeah, as you saw with the beginning, if you're ahead of them, that's good. If you're not ahead of them, then it's bad. So I think more than the other ones, you definitely want to try and slow them down as much as you can with big So otherwise he just gets changes everything. My only problem, I think, with some of these bosses in this version is they don't talk as much unless you're really close to them. In the original, they would seem to chat a little bit more than they did now, which is kind of weird. Okay, well, I'm getting better at that, at least. Okay, that ran out at a good time. I don't want to keep that all the way through, otherwise that turn is pretty much unmakeable. Thankfully it's on this track and not Oxide Station, but later we will have to do a boss while facing him on Oxide Station now. This is one of the worst turns to do as Dingodile. In fact, I heavily recommend Drake drifting if you're playing as him. The brake is actually kind of required to go fast as him. At least in this game with how much speed you build up.
So, you's beat me fair and square.
Yeah, I did.
I doubt you'll be this lucky with Oxide. Here's a key for your troubles. Ah, brother.
And now we're gonna warp straight to Oxide. I think my only problem is these cutscenes don't link together in the original. They still happen very quickly in the remake, but don't link up like they do in the original, where immediately after finishing it, you go straight into the Oxide cutscene. No loading screen. That's because the loading screen didn't happen, and now they do it here instead.
Well, the little terror vermin has finally collected all the trophies to become world champion. What took you so long? Now we prove who the fastest driver really is.
There we go. So we got all pinstripe stuff now. Now we get to unlock the Oxide, or at least whatever we unlock from the end of this game, by finishing them off once and for all. I'm still gonna listen to the initial cutscene before the credits begin, before I actually do the thing. I just wanted to let you know that I may or may not have to myself from getting hot, just because it happened to be that way. Again, my apologies in advance, but my room is very hot right now. Alright, Oxide the cheater. See, look at that. So that's why I call him Oxide the cheater. Thankfully, he doesn't always go for the bombs. He only does it in a specific spot. But he still puts stuff practically everywhere, so yeah, good luck facing him. He also slows down less, at least that's what he used to do in the original. And this is the worst spot by far. Just look at all the bombs coming. Since Oxide always starts in first, about your best way to beat him is to play the long drive and try and slow him down with as many missiles as you can. In the original, he didn't even take that effect as good as he does in other spots, but thankfully in this game it looks like he does actually go up, but at least in the original, I believe he would spin out initially. In the original, he would only spin out whenever he got hit by anything, which is terrible, in my opinion. It just makes the boss unnecessarily hard. Thankfully, because he doesn't do that, it's easy. So just like some of the other bosses, when you're ahead of Oxide, it's much easier. When you're not ahead of Oxide, it's an absolute pain, because, yeah. And you'll always be behind him for the beginning, too. There's no way to skip that, unfortunately. So the best strategy is to get ahead of him as fast as you can, and then just try and stay in the lead for as long as you can. And try not to hit as many walls. From the looks of it, because of the way the difficulty scaled, he did get toned down a little bit, but again, that isn't saying something that I'm not playing on hard. If this was on hard, I don't even know how people do it. but I don't want to find that out since you're not required to do this on hard for the any percent, at least to unlock everything, so I'd rather not deal with it. And obviously, in case I didn't already say this once, I'm gonna only be doing the campaign mode a single time. No reason to do it any more than that. Also, that's easy for ya. Seems like they toned down this out a lot. It used to be a little bit more difficult because of all that stuff, which kind of makes it a little bit upsetting, but at the same time, I don't really care. This is technically on easy, so he could be easily much faster on hard. So it's only if you play on easy. I think the music tone changed a little bit for this spot, this battle rather. You go too fast, by the way, on this AUG side, which is easily possible to do in the original because of all the glitches. You can occasionally start running into his nitros from the back end. You'll, like, barely see them, which is bad because if you could start getting hit by them. In fact, you go so fast in one of the runs in the original, like, if you were doing the seed run, you would almost certainly see his projectiles at least once.
Mate, you call that racing?
There we go. This is not the weekend for Sizen, but I guess I'll take that.
Ah! I can't believe you beat me. I never lose. How embarrassing. I'll be the laughingstock of all Gasmoxia. Fine. Your miserable planet stays gushy and green. At least you still haven't gathered all my time relics. Until you've collected all of those and race me again, you'll never be able to claim you are the fastest. This won't be the last time you'll face nitrous oxide. We will meet again.
Kind of interesting that only Sinkoko are showing in that cutscene when clearly I'm the one that did that. Oh wow, look at these stuff. I forgot that these appear. I'm not going to read them though because obviously there's stuff that has to be done, but we will watch the credits though to take a break. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. I did my best, but it had to be done. Wow, so Dingodile becomes a firefighter after he finishes, which is interesting. Okay, Pinstripe. Well, I think this game has been fun so far. This is kind of strange that this appears early. Normally this text doesn't appear in the original until after you get the true ending, since technically Oxide leaves after the second try. So that's when everybody would go back and doing their things. Very strange, but I don't know why they do that, but oh well. This game, in my opinion, is definitely really well done and definitely deserves your attention. Oh, and by the way, this was played on the Nintendo Switch version. Not technically the fastest version. PC is probably better, but I just wanted to do it just so that I can play with my friends later. But yeah. I'm not gonna skip this, obviously, both times, because I think it's preferred to see it all the times. Or I guess I could set this any part? I don't know. I'm definitely not going to do that on the final part, though. Oh, Toys for Bob was included in this, since bio characters were included as part of the game's character halls. So obviously that's very interesting. Alright, tonight. Oh. So obviously we're not done with these yet. We still have tons of stuff to get, because obviously we need to finish this stuff. Ugh. Still so hot in here. I'll have to figure out how to deal with that later. Right now I don't have the time to do it because I'm recording here. But anyway, we've been doing some fun stuff together, I guess. Man, these credits are early on. I may actually skip this part. Because, like I said, I'm not going to watch the real full credits until later, so I think this is actually enough for now. This is just so we could get back into the time. I think we watched enough, though. We unlocked the scrapbook, apparently. That's really strange. And our game progress just saved there. Okay, so what happens after we beat Oxide now? Keep in mind, this is our first time being Oxide. So, being Oxide in any area unlocks the scrapbook, but what else gets unlocked as well? We probably don't unlock him until after we get the true ending. That's what I'm guessing will happen. Oh, we do get him. Okay. Cool. It's too bad there's not a third entrance from his area. Because of that, it makes going through the warps a little bit slower. But, oh well. Don't know why I have to do Sanctuary Rhyme, but it is what it is. Okay, time to do everything in this level as fast as we can. Now's where things are going to get really annoying. There are so many difficult stuff in this game, you just don't know. It's crazy. As per usual, we'll do each of the time trials through all the way at least once just to get this up, and if it gets a little bit tricky, we'll use a check to figure out whether or not the time is for Sapphire. If there is a little trick that I could figure out what the platinum time is, I will definitely be using it, because I want to know what the platinum or at least gold time is, so I don't have to go for all this again. So yeah. Here we go. Because these are some of the later worlds, the CTR letters have gotten more considerably tough now, since most of them will get to the point where we'll pretty much slow down at the beginning, meaning we'll be behind the characters at the start, but then later we'll get into the lead later. Nice! So the sea is not as bad as I thought. So Blizzard Buff is a free track, which is good because later in the time trial, it's not going to be as free. It's going to be pretty annoying. I swear, that barrel is really hard to avoid. I still went pretty far, even with the nice soul and everything. Ah, gosh dang it. I hate how I only just hate the fact that you fly so high when you get hit by just anything. It just seems stupid. Only the bottles don't make you go home. It's kind of annoying. Okay, thank goodness I avoided it this time. Jeez, you have to go so far to the right to avoid that on some cycles. Keep in mind, we're probably going to have to evade that during the time trial 3 times in a row. Well, of course. Because why not? Okay, good. I was a little too close. Most of the CTR tokens are gonna be pretty easy, but the other stuff, probably not.
Dingo, dingo, dingo! Dingo!
Nice. Time to go to wherever the thing was. On the lower right. Yep, here's Blizzard Bluff. We'll do that. This next now. So why is Blizzard Buff so tough? I'll show you. The jump that has to be done here is so precise to the point where you both have to do a really good jump and pretty much YOLO into a drift right away, meaning you have to drift hitting quite a few boxes and then just barely jump over the thing to make it over the ramp. If you don't have enough speed, you'll slow down right away. If you don't jump just right, you'll fall into the pit. And I swear, whenever I try this, It's very hard for me to do that. So most of my time in this track is going to just ignoring the boxes for now and focusing on how is best to get the shot. Keep in mind, if you lose even a tiny bit of speed, it will not work. And you get so close too, like, it's so crazy. In fact, because it's that painful, I'm gonna literally try this just to do it on all 3 laps when I first play this. Just so that I know what to do. And I also will start drifting a little bit more while practicing some of the other block skits as well. And like I said, you can't be crappy. You have to get the boost off this ramp, but then keep it for the entire thing. And of course, for the perfect run, you have to get both boxes and survive. Which on the remake, for some reason, they made really hard, and I don't know why. In fact, I'm honestly still not sure how to get it like that. And of course, I'm going to be owing a lot of the turns too, because we can't just simply turn through everything anymore. Let's go for this now. On the last lap. So at least don't have to worry about remembering it. In fact, I think you're supposed to drift through that in order to keep the boost for the entire thing. See? You can kind of see how you just barely make that. Because of that, for the first half or so, I'm literally just going to be yelling the drift over and over again. So I can practice that as much as I can until, I get at it once, then I'll start retrying to get it. And it's kind of unfortunate that you have to yell this, and in addition to that, you have to avoid the stinking boulder as well. Okay, I don't know why I retried there, but fine. I'll make this the legit temp. I do want to also practice getting the error boxes as well. I think this is your best time to get it, but keep in mind, if you get squished by any of these boulders as well, yeah, that's right, you have to dodge the boulder on the few laps as well, and that's one of the most obnoxious boulders to dodge too, so it is not fun whatsoever. Now I'm not gonna be fast enough for the jump. I can just tell. You need to keep the speed boost all the way through to get it. I think there's like a specific angle you need to do that may make it easier, but how am I supposed to know what that is? Getting those two is also really annoying. Keep in mind, to get a perfect run on this, this also involves having to do them. Okay, so we're gonna ignore this. Just go to the right so we can practice the other stuff. And like I said, we have to do this at least one time. This shortcut has to be done in order to us to access the whole secret. I think the way that sets you up, I think it's best to just get the free whenever that happens. I'm still trying to figure out which lap is best for this. Okay, there we go. We got it at least once, so now we're gonna restart and try again. I'm gonna have to figure out which boxes to get in which order, and it's gonna be kind of tricky. So because that thing is in a bad spot, I'm gonna try and do this first. driving off to the side and see if that'll set me up on a better cycle. Sure enough, there it is. Much better. Okay, I got the good one, so I'm gonna continue and just go for a gold on this and not care about anything else. Again, I'm gonna have to drift a lot more. Nice. Okay, on the last one, I'm gonna go for the other box. Oh, come on. If I miss these single boxes and then I fail this, I'm gonna be so salty about this. Keep in mind, you also have to get the other boxes here as well. It doesn't help that I'm missing literally every box. Come on. If I could get boxes, maybe I could play good. Screw that. That's not gonna be a good attempt. At least I figured out the strategy for the first part, so I gotta remember. Do the one in the far right, slow down, get the ones on the edge, and that'll set me up perfectly for this, so that is what I'm gonna do. Oh, except that might mess it up. If I'm any slow, I might mess it up. Beautiful! I actually did it this time. With all of the boxes. I have a chance at the plat if I don't miss a box now. The pressure's on. Whoa! Of course I missed one. But I could still get gold. This should be a gold if I perform perfectly. Okay, I'm gonna have to go slower on this part just because of the boxes on there. Screw it, I'm gonna go for this one right now. Because why not? To be fair, that's one of the trickier ones to get. Any one you have to get while sliding is kind of obnoxious. Okay, I'm actually not missing boxes this time. I think I'm good this time. Jump that one. Don't jump this one. This ice makes it kind of tricky to get this one. Wow, it's just gonna be that one at the end, too. Wow, that's rough. But it should be a guaranteed gold with all the stuff I got. And, oh, I completely forgot about that one as well. But, yeah, we got gold. That was third try gold, too, as well. That was really nice start, actually. I expected to spend more time on that, but it didn't take me a while to learn this consistent strategy. With that one, you pretty much have to get a consistent cycle so that when you YOL with the drift, you get that. And you can't get that unless you drift too. So that means in order to get a plat, you have to perfectly hit all those boxes while drifting. And of course, skip the stuff the first time too. You can always get boxes on later laps, for all I care. And in my opinion, I think that was a good run. Even though it didn't plat, it ended up being a free gold after all. I just wish we could have more of those. Okay, let's go for purple now. Onto Rocky Road. Again, some of these are going to be pretty difficult, so learning the exact route for this is going to be pretty tricky. I did say before, I am not very well practiced with these, so I don't really know how to do these particular CTR challenges fast. I used to do the first one really good, but with Dingodile's fast speed and Pearl Territory, it'll be kind of tricky to do. Well, I think I'm going to try to break as much as I can here. Again, I'm gonna let the timer count down to at least close to 0 each time. These are, of course, the battle arenas, in case you're wondering. You can both do regular battle against opponents and battle, just like in Mario Kart. In fact, this one, I think more than all the other ones, definitely looks like they copied the battle mode from Mario Kart on this one. Very interesting, though, that you can use it to get the crystals. I think that's a nice touch. We still have time to explore this part. Okay, not enough now. Now we have to restart. Figure out what to do in what order is pretty tricky because of the way you have to approach stuff. That one was failed enough to the point where I don't want to turn around. I need to make sure I get that on the side if I can help it, because that'll give me a lot more time to collect stuff. Again, I missed it. Just barely. We're gonna have to end the drift then after a little bit, but we could still use it, that's for sure. Okay, I'll just stop it at the second one then instead. Nice! And let's go straight into this, and this. Turn around. Oh, perfect. Not timed good. That is one of the tougher runs to get to. That is one of the gems. Wow, the way this sets you up, you're just perfectly in time to get these two crystals. I like it. Okay, unfortunately I don't really know how to do this well. Going a mix between all the routes doesn't seem to be working. Maybe doing it lane by lane will be easier. Yeah, it'll definitely be easier to do it this way. Not bad. Keep in mind, I have to go across the bridges as well, so... Not one of the bridges. Just hope I didn't miss. I just have to hope that I didn't miss any here. Oh, barely worked. Okay. The ring strategy kind of paid off there. Good. I basically pretended that each one of the free spots that you could go, the one below the bridge, the spot that you go to at the start, and the inner lane are all their own lanes. That's how I was able to optimize that one a little bit better, and it paid off in the end. We just barely got it to. I feel like these are some of the easiest challenges, though, once you know exactly what to do, because it's not even a challenge after that. It's really challenging the first time you play it, like I've been doing right now. Okay, well now to this one on the lower right, which is oh gosh, Dragon Mines again. Not Dragon Mines again. I think the fastest way to do the Dragon Mines trick, by the way, is, again, you're gonna have to drift into the area, which is extremely precise in the remake, and jump at the same exact time to preserve your speed, so you don't get stuck. I'm not sure if you need it in the CTR race, but you may need it. For Dingodile, it actually becomes really important that it's actually faster for him, if you're playing perfectly, to just take that shortcut on all 3 laps, and it'll end up being faster and going along the long turn. That just shows how terrible he is at taking that turn. Anyone else could get around it much easier. Like, that's actually part of the reason why when the original speedrun was done, we never used to use Dingodile. We used to use Coco because she had way better turning in this game. Probably still the best character to do the stuff with. Of course, if you go for the turning, then it's not really that bad at all. Okay, I'm gonna wait for later to look at it. Yep, so the way that T is positioned... Oh, wait, no. Oh, no. We have to go back around this twice. Oh, yeah, I forgot. This is probably the worst CTR challenge right then, I guess, because of that. Because you have to literally go backwards to get that. So that means you're guaranteed to start this race in 8th place at one point and have to through everything, which means there's a lot more RNG to deal with on this track in terms of the racers. So obviously we're getting that lap 1 ASAP. Thankfully we don't need to do the shortcut, but still that's really annoying. Of course, if we did the shortcut, it would not be as bad. Okay, do this. Whew. Okay, didn't miss the R. Didn't miss the R. We are okay. That's the hardest part of the race done. Nice. Don't know what this view is, but trying here. Good, no missiles. I did not get missiled at the end. Good. Oh yeah, I guess also for the same purpose, Pyrrha and Polar would be much better at this track as well, just because of being able to turn so much sharper. In fact, be a lot easier for them as long as they drift, but for Dingo, it's not very challenging, to the point where it's usually faster for Dingo to just do power side everywhere, or he's required to do a brake shift in order to get around there. In fact, I'll probably have to do that in the spot. But before I do anything else, I'm gonna attempt to go into the trick hole first. Toot on every single lap initially, until I get a good enough point to where I don't get squished, but I make it all the way to the end. And we got Crunk, apparently. Nice. That's one of the Nitro card characters as well. Too bad there's not a Nitro card storyline in this. But I think just having the tracks is good enough for this game. Because the original storyline is much preferred anyways. So just like all the previous checks before, we're gonna go around it slow to begin with, but then later we're going to figure out what to do to go fast. Okay, well, that's too slow. I don't want to even bother with that. And sure enough, there's the chick again. That's probably the best way of getting that. So that's what I'll do at the beginning. Having to do the tricks on lap 2 is not fun. Okay, so I have to drift into this. Let's go. Okay, I don't think there's any way to speed this up, unfortunately. The best thing I can do is just combo that into this. Okay, I may actually get this on the first try. Wow. It's probably not gonna be plat, but it could be close to it. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, I forgot I missed a box there. We'll just take what we get here and see if it's flat or not. Made it! Oh, that was so scaringly close. I think the only way to get this is via this side, but nope. Okay, then we'll take this around. And we won the gold anyway. Okay, don't need to do any more. Some of the golds are a lot easier than I thought. It's just, for some reason, Papu's Pyramid was just one of those where the gold was set up really awkwardly. Alright. That's what I like to see more of. Gold on our first try. That's nice. Even though we didn't get all the boxes. So that was actually a first try. We didn't reset at all. We didn't bonk anything, so I decided to go through. In fact, I didn't even get squished at 8 there. So yeah. I'll figure out how to get the plat later, since I don't need to do that now, since I did that. And obviously for getting the boxes on there, the first thing that I found out... Oh. Okay, that was actually a sticker. I don't think that was the character unlock, but... It was for the Nitro characters. One of the bosses in that, actually. In Rain Rally, it's crucial to maintain your speed when there are no rains around. How many times is that going to pop up? I swear, I can't wait to do Rain Rally. It's probably going to be really challenging now. I'm guessing Rain Rally is required to unlock stuff, so we'll make sure to show all of the modes. When I say 100%, I mean 100%. Everything's gonna be done. But I think I will skip the cups on hard just because, well, it's pretty obvious. It's hard. Like, you don't want to do all the cups on hard. It's way too challenging. And keep in mind, that has to be played non-classic, so everyone's gonna have upgrades. Alright, CTR challenge on this place now. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is the jumping mess. Oh, this is gonna be so terrible. At least I get 3 chances of each one, but still, it's gonna be painful as heck. I think brake drifting as Dingodile is probably faster on a couple of turns, so I'll do my best to do that. So right here, I'll do a little brake drift there to go a little faster. I think that actually ended up being faster than I expected. Okay, where's the C? There it is. The T was in that mixed spot, so what about this other shot? There we go. So, when I do the brake drift, I think I need to tap it for just a second or two. Obviously, if I tap it too slow, I'm gonna end up in the... Nice, that... So, by not jumping there, we got it perfectly. Okay, that's the hardest part done. Now we just need to beat the CPUs, and they seem to be sucking again, thankfully. Which is good, because this is one of Dingodile's least favorite tracks. In fact, if I was playing on multiplayer, I could easily get beaten by players who are playing as Coco or Engine, just because they have more turning speed than Dingodile does by a mile. Got an extra drift in there. That's new. See, it has to be for just a split second. Too much and you'll slow down all the way through, but for me, looks like just a second is enough to still do really good. Keep in mind though, I do have to drift around every other one. Again, just split second. Again, if we were using Coco, we would not need to do that, so we would be much faster overall. We would be able to maintain the speed for much longer than if we were playing as Dingo. Thankfully, we're still in a good lead thanks to all our how good our turns have been so far. And yes, I do believe that is faster, specifically as Dio. I did kind of tell you guys in the last shot that Tiny's Arena is one of the worst tracks for Dingodile just because of how hard the turning is to do. Thankfully, it didn't take me too long to learn it, so from the looks of it, brake drifting is going to be the best way around it. Kind of the thing that they decided to borrow from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, or actually I think it was originally, I think that's just the way it does that. That's just to make sure the momentum doesn't carry me into the wall there. I played that really well considering I'm Dingo. Okay. Time for yet another annoying time trial with a lot of jumps and other stuff. We're once again gonna YOLO it again, because again, if we get a gold, we could just finish. This track, out of all of them, takes the longest to retry, so I think for this one, I might just do it once and then get the Platinum Relic off screen, so we may not actually get the gold on stream as a result of that, but to be fair, it's better to do that. It's either that or cut out a bunch of stuff, but I'd rather not cut out a bunch of stuff. All of this is going to stay intact, so you're going to see all my failing regardless of how many times I do it. Of course, if I was going for a hard mode playthrough, I would actually probably cut out everything and put several videos together if I need to. And here we go. Time to read it. Time trial. One try, play. Keep in mind the Sapphire times are easy, so they shouldn't be too difficult. I may still get gold even if I miss one too, seeing as how I know how to turn a little bit better. So we'll make use of that brake tactic to get around stuff a little bit easier. I believe it's Y on my controller to brake. Not 8 or 7. Yeah, it's definitely correct. Oh wow, of course I'm already jumping over boxes. Keep in mind, I'm still new to this. That's a Beanox crate in the side, I think. Dang it. Yeah, this is definitely gonna be really tough to get all the boxes since I'm already forced to drift around every corner. I made that work really well, somehow. Well, okay. Somehow I still kept my speed for all that, even though I braked on that part. If I would need to do that to make up, so I thought I would do that. Oh, this one I do have to do. That might be a little too much, unfortunately, for gold now. Unless I commit and actually get all the crates, then I might get a gold. Nope. Not after that, that's for sure. That's probably the worst crate to get, too. Oh yeah, right, I missed this in several turns, so... most of this is just stalling time so that I can still get the gold. Okay, that's probably the earliest state we need to get. Can actually kind of go full drift style around that. Okay, the center one we could apparently pick up, but the other ones we can't. Again, those look really tricky, so our only way to be able to get them is probably gonna... Oh, we're almost there. We got gold anyway, yeah. I figured that was the free gold, because if they made it any harder, it'd be really difficult. So, it turned out to be a free gold, so it was a first try to any arena anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if the plat, though, would be really tough. Pretty much every platinum in this game is, like, 3 times as tough, because... you can't just slow down, you have to go very fast for everything. Tiny's arena will probably be the easiest flat to get. I'm just calling it. But at least we got the gold, so it's what matters.
Ray, you've earned a relic.
In terms of relics, I think we did really well. Well, in this episode, we didn't take as long as I expected we would take on some of them, so overall that's really fun. What the heck is this? Oh, right, that's a shortcut to the edge. Hang on, there might actually be a way to get that. So let's try doing a bounce jump here. Yeah. I know that. So those golden coins are probably required for something, but obviously I would not waste time getting all of those on camera, so I'll get them later. For now, that's gonna be it for this video. So we did quite a few stuff. We finished the actual storyline by defeating nitrous oxide, and now we don't really have much left, so we just gotta get golden and everything, and we'll be done. So, anyways, leave a like if you enjoyed, rate, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.